Alright, here's the most disappointing figures of mine from 2020. Now, some of you have been waiting for this video, and here they are. There are 3 figures that I find extremely disappointing from 2020. I will go over them from my least to my most hated. Third on my list is Captain Rex. Can't even imagine saying Captain Rex as my third disappointing figure from 2020. Captain Rex was such a great character. The Black Series came out. That one was amazing. I don't have it, but hopefully they'll re-release that figure. But the vintage line, this was terrible. This turned out terribly. They basically reused, reassembled the 2014 figure, repackaged the 2014 figure, and only giving us a vintage packaging look and call it a day. So this definitely phoning it in, and there's nothing new on this figure. Still got the ugly skirt, and the helmet is not even removable, so it looks a bit tiny, and then the shoulders, they look massive compared to the helmet, and everything about this figure is very dated. There's torso, there's barely any articulation, there's no chest articulation, only a swivel waist, and then swivel hips, and that's it. So yeah, I was thinking that initially I was thinking that it would at least have a removable helmet like a wolf, because going in when I first pre-ordered this guy, I didn't realize it was such a bad figure to begin with. It's only when it was pretty close to release time I knew it wasn't a brand new sculpt. It was main. I figured it would be exactly the same as Wolf, because Wolf has the same body, but at least Wolf had a removable helmet and it has a face underneath. I figured when they release Rex, I could probably swap out parts and stuff like that. But with this one, the helmet, no, you cannot swap out with any of the newer figures, because this one has a small helmet. It doesn't fit over any of the other heads. Even if you carved out the inside of it, it still won't fit any of the newer figures. So that's very disappointing. And yeah, that's why this guy is third on my most disappointing figures from for 2020. And second on my list is this 1000 Toys Master Chief figure. I had a lot of high hopes for this figure, and it turned out pretty bad. The body proportion is way off. It doesn't look right. His especially the waist looks super skinny for a Spartan. The helmet, it's not shaped the right way. It's a little too skinny towards the bottom, around the neck section, towards the bottom of the helmet. It's a little too round. And speaking of round, those thighs, they made him look very feminine. If you just look at this part, it looks like a female character than a Master Chief character. And the arms are a bit skinny, and then the ankles are also kind of skinny around the bottom here. And the only saving grace for this figure are the weapons. They are nice, and they are made out of hard plastic, so I can give them to my Jazzware figures. They'll fit perfectly with that figure. And the other major problem about this figure are these wrist pegs. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I would assume these guys test the figure out before they start production, right? I mean, are they not aware these wrist pegs are just so shallow that the hands just practically falls off if you barely touch them? And here, look. It comes off so easily. Look at how shallow that ball joint is and the socket. I mean, what is going on? I mean, did they not even mess with these figures when they got them? I mean, in production, I mean, look at this. You barely touched it and then it falls off, and then you try to put it back in. It feels like it's not clicking in properly. I mean, it's so shallow, the socket part. It just, it's like, I don't know what's going on here. It's like, come on, make these a little bit better, and I might like this figure a little bit more. Because it has great articulation. I mean, it is hard plastic too, so which is something I like. I mean, range of motion is pretty good. It's just the look of him, it's a little strange. I mean, I get that Halo 1, the look, it's not the same as the newer helmets and stuff like that, but this chin section, it's very narrow. If you look at it from this angle, you can see how narrow it is. I mean, they should have fattened up this a little bit. So for this figure to hold weapons, you would have to take the hand off, put the weapon in first, and then pop it back on. And try not to move it that much, because otherwise it'll fall right off. So that's quite annoying actually. And for $100 figure, I am definitely expecting a lot more than what we got here. And here I got the Jazzware figure holding on to the rifle, and you can see it fits perfectly on him. So yeah, the weapons are saving grace. I mean, salvageable for this for paying $100 for. That's the only positive about this figure. Side by side, they both look about the same height, and I'm fine with the height. It's just the body proportion is off, and the sculpt of the helmet is completely off. I wish they had fixed those things, and the wrist pegs. If they fixed those, this would have been a nice figure to have and to mess with. You wouldn't be so annoyed by it, but that's why this is number 2 on my list. Okay, as my number 1 is this SH Figuarts Batman figure based on the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman movie, and this was an instant regret. Got this figure, opened up the box, and the second I opened up the box, I was regretting the purchase because of that stupid cape that they gave us. It's a poorly done cape. It is super thick, and also the eyes of this figure is terribly painted, terribly printed on the head itself. And here's the cape we got, and it is super thick. It looks terrible. It hangs terribly. It doesn't flow well. Granted that for a 112 figure, it might be a little bit hard to do, but still, I mean, this is the worst material they could have picked. They didn't even have to. I would have been happier if they gone with another material instead of this. Something that doesn't even have to look this leather-like. But for some reason they chose this, but they chose some material that is super thick. I went ahead and bought a cape off of eBay, and this is what I got, and I think it looks much better now. Of course, this is a custom, and so I mean, you could buy this off eBay. It's available, and has wire running through it, and it looks much better than what we got from a company that charges what is it? How much is this one? It was like 60 something, 60, 70, somewhere around there for this cape here. Well, for this figure with this ugly cape. The cape, you could remove it pretty easily. On the top here, if I could focus in, let's see. On the front of the, once you pop the head off, there are 2 pegs right here. You could easily remove those. And then on the back, there's also a piece of plastic back here, and you could just pop that piece right off and the cape comes right off. It is not glued down or anything, so you could easily remove this cape and then just bind the cape yourself to do a nice custom figure here. But the other issue I have with this figure is are these eyes. They're terribly done, and the eyes are just, yeah, just extremely poorly done. Here, let me see if I can zoom in and show you guys. It looks horrendous. Look at how bad these eyes are. This one is looking towards the side a little bit. It's pretty bad. And there's some gunk around his eyebrow here too. I'm not sure what that is. Might be from printing. And then the other head that he comes with also got terrible eyes. This one's even worse than the first one. Here, this is the head sculpt. It's like there are no pupils here. Barely, you can barely see it. It's like it's all white here. It's kind of bad. So eventually, I think I'll just repaint this myself. The eyes, it might be kind of tough because it's so tiny. And then there's some glossiness around the eyebrows and the forehead section, and I'm not sure what's going on with that either. It's overall a very, very disappointing figure. So that's why this guy is my #1 most disappointing figure of 2020. Oh, and the emblem is off-center too. They printed off-center, so yeah, it's like there are so many things wrong with this figure. Just awful. So there you have it. These three are my most disappointing figures for 2020. Yeah, pretty much all three are instant regrets. And yeah, if you have any questions about these three figures, you're welcome to comment down below, and we'll answer as to the best of my ability. And if you have a worst figures, if you have a list yourself, yeah, you're welcome to comment that down below, and I'll take a look at it as well too. So there you go, and thanks for watching, and Happy New Year.